Today we are taking a look at yet another HBO Max classic, Santa Incorporated, because it feels like those big studios, they never really know what they want. A guy can just walk in there and be like, "Hey all you people, won't you listen to me? I got the finest show around, a show covered in semen and pee." And they'll just be like, "Yeah baby, that's just what we wanted, that's what we need, yes, oh my god. Here's $300,000 per episode, sprinkle it everywhere." Yeah, I have no idea what Santa's Incorporated is about, but I've heard it's really bad. It has atrocious IMDb ratings, so I'm gonna be seeing, is the show as bad as people say, or is it something to be praised and not looked over, and everyone just judged it a little bit too harshly. If you like content just like this, please make sure to like and subscribe. I upload almost every single day, and you don't want to miss it. And if you want a place where you can talk about your favorite shows, movies, and games, my Discord will be in the description. Now let's finally take a look at Santa Incorporated. The first episode I took a look at was the first episode of the series, and that is Where the Hell is Brent? And I think the show is linear, like it's all building to something, but I don't know, I don't really care, because this show honestly sucks already. Just one episode in, I could already get the big picture of the comedy. It's basically the equivalent of if I went to a comedy club, and I'm just glazing myself. I'm like, "Everybody let me jork your pork, you're about to laugh more than you've ever laughed before." And I walk up to the stage, I look everybody dead in the eyes, and I'm like, "I just had sex with a field mouse. Yeah, used that tiny thing up. I used my tears as lubricant." Yeah, and then everybody started booing me, throwing tomatoes on stage. They put me in the guillotine and chopped my head off. That's what I would be expecting, but man, the writers seem to just love comedy like that, where it's just cursing for the sake of cursing, while also trying to be empowering to women, but also throwing in just constant sex joke after sex joke after sex joke in just the most abhorrent ways that it's not very funny. This is one of those shows where it's constantly trying to convey a message about empowerment, but when you immediately follow that up with a really shitty joke that just negates everything you were trying to do, then it doesn't really convey your message. I'm all for conveying a powerful message in a form of media, but when you're trying to do a situation comedy where the characters are talking about how thick Prancer's big meaty reindeer dick is, then it's a little bit hard for me to relate to your message going on here. Just throwing that out. This episode starts with this character named Candy. She's a little purple elf, and she immediately finds this dead lizard and just starts cursing out all the employees.
Chang from Tallahassee loses her shit.
Halloween?
"You guys need to get your acts together. What would she do if she found this corpse on Christmas Day?" Yep, we're just getting right into it, and then every other character just swears with every single sentence. There's this character named Brent. He's hyping up all the reindeer, and he's just making fun of every other holiday, especially the Easter Bunny.
Bullshit. Easter? Fuck that stupid bunny. May Day? What the fuck is May Day?
It's just a very interesting concept for the show where, you know, you take the holiday cheer, which could be fun, and make it very cynical, but when every single character is all cynical, even Santa Claus, in this case it's Santa Rogen, because it's voiced by Seth Rogen, so that's great. Just everybody's super cynical, and honestly, if I'm watching something like Santa Inc., you know, and I want a different spin on it, at least make it funny to where every other joke isn't about thrusting your way into something. It's just a little bit odd. So they're all getting ready for Christmas. Brent is the successor to Santa. We find out that Rudolph Jr. is a little bit of a prick, I guess, establishing our characters here. And then Brent is talking to Candy about what she's gonna do after tonight, and just the brilliant comedy here. I guarantee you this got the whole room on the floor laughing. Just wow, she's getting excited, and she's like, I will have sex with a baby shark, and I will bite its head off.
Shit on the bed. I will fuck a baby shark and bite its head off.
Wow, that was thrilling comedy. Man, 30 writers in a room, you know, you got this really cool concept, and then you just have to make all your characters say shock value stuff, where it honestly feels like it's gonna be a cutaway gag, but then nothing happens, so it's just a void after everything they say, and I feel like it's supposed to be like that shocking comedy, but nobody reacts to anything, like, weird. Like, it doesn't have that, like, Office charm where Michael would say something super racist or something, and then everybody just stares at him like, What? What'd you say? Like, it doesn't have that. All the characters act like that, so it's just not very entertaining when they're all saying abhorrent stuff all the time. At least that's how I view it. So Santa shows up and Candy is talking to him about his statistics and how he's more believed in than vaccines in the Holocaust. Yep. Even more thrilling jokes. God, I feel like a chestnut roasting on an open fire, but not in a good way. I feel like I'm gonna die. I don't know. It's just not enticing me here. I'm not getting that Christmas cheer so far. So, Santa eventually goes on his big expedition, and there's some anti-Christmas pigeons, which I feel like was just thrown in there to increase the runtime. It was ultimately pointless. I don't really understand a lot of the things going on. I do like the animation for the show. I didn't look it up, but it does appear to maybe be... Let's see if it's stop motion. Is Santa Inc. stop motion? It is stop motion! That's beautiful! Okay, so it's got one thing going about it. I actually admire the animation. I think it looks cool. I think it's a cool take on things. It actually does add to that Christmas vibe. Maybe if the characters were acting any different, then I would be enjoying myself a little bit more. So... you know, it's a successful Christmas for the majority of the time. We cut to the next day and Candy is talking with her mother and she has this brother who is like, "Aw, yeah, baby, Santa hit it raw. Used his wife as lubricant, yeah.
Burning hell. Santa Claus, he likes it raw. But his wife ain't no hoe. She don't suck on that north."
Just more nonsensical, sex jokes that don't really relate to anything. It just establishes that she has a harsh relationship with her brother and mom. Cool. And then there's a big meeting the next day. Oh wait, I can't forget before we get to the big meeting. They're talking with this female reindeer who is upset because she doesn't get to go out with all the men and fly the sled, which you have a moment to create something interesting there. Like, you want like the female reindeers to get their power on. Like, she looks buff, she looks jacked, she looks like she could fly that sleigh, and then you just immediately follow it up with her talking about Prancer and his big old schlong and how she was using it up, having a three-way with a bunch of different reindeers.
Prancer's not Santa because his dick was as thick as a chimney.
Oh yeah, give me some more of that vicarious shit.
And I feel like that just kind of takes it away when she's so upset at all the men reindeer getting all these chances, and then she's like, "Yeah, but that big old reindeer schlong, hoo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, baby, that's what I like. That's what I like a lot." Like, it's just so odd. Like, you would think she would be mad at all their reindeers for not pushing for her to get more chances, or be mad at Prancer for not using his big old horkin' cock to help him out a little, to help her out a little bit. You would think, like, you'd be like, "Yeah, you just gave me the best Rainussy I've ever had. Let me help you get on the team." Like, I don't get what the goal with this is. I feel like the entire joke is that reindeers are canoodling with each other, and that's what's supposed to keep you entertained. I don't know. It was just kind of whatever. We then have this gingerbread woman who has a baby, and we just get a bunch of, like, mother jokes about how it's really hard to have a baby, and you don't, like, have a life anymore. And that's the entire joke, and she just keeps saying that over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like, well, yeah, that sucks. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. I hope it gets better. I really do. Candy then gets called to this big meeting where it turns out that Brent, who was the successor to Santa, he met Jeff Bezos the other night, which I actually thought was kind of funny. That caught me off guard. So now he's going to go and work for Jeff Bezos at Amazon.
Brent, I'm Jeff Bezos.
Oh my God, Jeff Bezos. I can't believe it's you.
I would like for you to come work for me at...
That was a interesting way to get rid of Brent and establish that Candy wants to be the next Santa. That was cool, to say the least. So we then cut to Candy being at the bar, and she's talking to this polar bear, and then the polar bear wants to use her up, like saying, "Oh, you could cry on this, baby." And then Candy starts, like, ranting about how, "Oh, if I was crying on it, would you use it as lubricant? Oh, would you use it up and make me feel so good?"
Working. Is it like I cry and you use my tears as lubricant to masturbate to my sadness?
Yeah. I don't know, is that sex joke number 10 yet? Are we there yet? No? because every single joke is like that. And I'm not exaggerating, because after this bar scene where she wants to be the female Santa and it's supposed to be really cool, we go outside and it's just her grandfather who walks up and is like, I'm out here looking for some sexual intercourse. You know, you feel me, Candy? Can you understand the desires of a old feeble man?
Candy Cane Lane is the best place for anonymous sexual encounters.
Can you
understand that, Candy? Cause god damn it, Candy, I need a woman. I need it right now. Yeah, it's just very odd how every single time they feel like they're progressing the story, they just immediately backpedal with the same exact joke that I've heard a million times. It's just a little bit odd, to say the least. I don't really understand this strange obsession. So they then cut to Candy going to her friend's house, and we get to see the gingerbread mother again and the reindeer woman again. And this entire sequence was completely and utterly pointless. Like, imagine you're talking to me. And you're like, yeah, you know, I really want to be something more. And then I was like, bitch, really? Oh, bitch, really? Really? Yeah.
Yes, bitch, because it's empowering to call you bitch. A man wouldn't mind being called a bitch.
That's basically what they spend 2 minutes doing. They just keep saying stuff like that over and over and over again, and they back it up by saying that calling people a bitch is empowering, and they just do it repeatedly over and over and over again, and it's just very odd that we wasted 2 minutes on that scene. That could have been 20 seconds. And then we have Candy going to Santa, the big old Saint Nick, the man who could help with anything, and she confesses how she wants to be the next Santa. And Santa Rogan, he's like, yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, so he starts thinking about it, and then it cuts to him going to his party, where it's a big old man party, and they talk about shaving. So Candy gets offended and leaves, and then she's like, mark my words, I'll be the next Santa. And that's cool. Like, honestly, I think the story does have some things going for it that could actually make it a really good show. I actually really like Candy's desire to be above everybody else, be the first elf Santa, but also be the first female Santa. I think that's a good story to follow, and a lot of the stuff that they were doing with her character could have worked if you don't immediately follow it up with, yeah, reindeer penis, oh yeah. I gotta find something to put it in. Like, it's just odd how every single scene has to end with that exact same concept just being thrown at you over and over again. And maybe I'm just not the type of person for the show, but if you find, like, the same joke funny, like if you like the initial joke where they talk about, you know, just doing horrible, atrocious things to each other, then you're gonna laugh at every other joke. But I just didn't find it that funny. I would much rather watch a show. It could still be adult themed, but it's more focused on Candy and her desires to be the next Santa, and it focuses on that. And there's just, like, I don't know, Christmas jokes that are more adult themed. Like, he walks in and Santa's huffing on some snow. Ho, 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 if you catch my drift. I don't know. It feels like they're focusing on the wrong things here. I just didn't like it. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 3 out of 10. You know, it's pretty abysmal. Taking a look at episode 2, we have the Faces of Meth, and I really feel like there's just a hobgoblin in the corner just when these episodes are being pitched, just like, I want to see stuff that relates to sexual intercourse. In fact, please start the episode with Santa getting blown by Mrs. Claus. And that's exactly what we get. He's just like, ho, 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 that's exactly what I needed, ho, 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 I think I'm gonna bust. He's just getting his peppermint patty horked by Mrs. Claus. She's just horking it down, and the entire point of this scene is, 1, so you could watch Santa get blown, and it's just supposed to be shock value humor. And 2, Santa's all like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm considering Candy to be my successor because she's a woman and she's Jewish.
Ho, 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 shit!
And that's it. That's the entire point of that 2-minute intro sequence, and it's ultimately pointless. Like, genuinely. Like, if you like watching Santa get blown, you're gonna be having a wonderful time. But I personally didn't care for it. We then just cut to some more boring stuff. Like, a lot of this is just boring. I was honestly hoping that they would shy away from all the sex humor, but once they do, there's just not a lot of substance to go off of. Candy isn't a very charismatic character to lead a bunch of scenes, because the majority of the time it's just like, yeah, I want to be Santa! And that's it. Like, she doesn't crack any wise jokes. She doesn't do anything that makes me care for her character. It's just a bunch of boring blah. That's all I could really say about it. It's just not that entertaining to watch her struggle to be Santa. She gives a speech to a bunch of interns, which was ultimately boring. She takes one of the interns to go to meet a toy maker. Again, a really boring scene. And then she goes to see Santa. And the entire point of this scene is that she gets to give a big old speech to the director of the board. And we just get to watch her go, eee! For a while, because she's excited. And that's like the first 7 minutes of the episode, and it's boring, man. It's unbelievably boring. And then you have the girl reindeer walking in, and she's just like, oh, guess who just got with Donner last night? I used him up. Ooh, yeah, ran all over that train, baby.
Finally banged Donner last night. Not y'all. Holla. Go.
So she's very excited that she got to use Donner's meat rack. She was very thrilled about that, and she sees the intern, and she's all like, ooh, I want to get all up in your cargo pants. Starts twerking all over him. Yep, that's cool. And then they go outside, and they run into Rudolph Jr., and Rudolph Jr. slut-shames her, which is supposed to be viewed as a very bad thing, which would make you hate Rudolph Jr., but I just watched this woman walk into a room talking about how she just used up a fucking Donner's pine tree, just used it up real good, she's smelling so fresh, and then grinds on an intern that she's seen for 1 second, grinding on him, saying, I want your cargo shorts all up in me, and then she's mad that Rudolph Jr. says that she likes to get around. Like, the show's not conveying that he's wrong here. Like, should he be saying that? Probably not, but the show hasn't made it so I want to be on the girl's side. We get a reindeer battle, they're just fighting, and then they end up chasing Rudolph and following him to this tree. And that's where the episode actually got really interesting. I liked this concept where they fall into this tree and it's like Verrucht from fucking Call of Duty World at War. It looks like an insane asylum in there. And they open all these doors and all the reindeer are tweaking because they're apparently all super high on crystal meth. Because Brent was apparently giving them that so that they would work as efficiently as possible to accomplish their goals. And we have like an intervention scene with Rudolph Jr., which establishes more of his character. I like that aspect of the episode. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that. It's when we get out of that I don't really care anymore. Because Candy goes to give a big old nice fat speech to the board of directors and she's just really boring the entire time. And then Santa's mad because she was boring. And that's the end of the episode. Thrilling, exciting, full of life and full of love. I don't know. It just feels like their comedy just isn't very good, and also the story just also isn't very good because Candy isn't that interesting of a character. Like, I just don't care very much because they're not making her a character that you want to relate to, a character that you want to enjoy. It feels like a lot of shows these days, they're focused too much on conveying their message. And again, I'm fine if you convey a message, but you still have to do it in a way that's entertaining, because people, they're not going to come home from their long day at work, whatever they were doing, and watch something that is just flat out boring, that doesn't make them feel good, that doesn't make them like seem worthwhile to sit down and watch this. If you're not trying to be entertaining, if you're just trying to convey that message like, oh, Candy wants to be the female Santa and she's sad about it, yeah, but you're not making it entertaining to get there, which just hurts the value of me watching this so much. If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would probably also give it a 3 out of 10. There's just not a lot going on, and it doesn't feel very enticing. The next episode I'm going to be taking a look at is Spring Awakening, and there were some things that actually worked about this episode, but it's hard. It's so hard to like it when it's just funneling everything through sexual intercourse, because they're going to be like, okay, guys, we made so many sexy, stinky jokes in our first 2 episodes. What do we replace that with? How do we make it better? Let's have them actually doing it on screen. Let's have them get freaky with each other. And at that, let's make some sensual ear-touching scenes, because everybody in their right mind wants that ear-ussy, huh? Yeah, they all do. They all want it really, really bad, and it's so odd. The episode opens with Candy trying to lift some weights, and we see on the news that Petunia Rabbit, the daughter of Peter Rabbit, the Easter Bunny, she got fired because she had too many abortions. Yeah. Sorry, Petunia. That's a darn shame. And then Santa is feeling pressured because he has to choose a successor really fast. And again, all of these scenes are useless. All of them are pointless. And it's just making me angry. Like, genuinely, if this show was 12 minutes long, you could easily accomplish the same thing instead of funneling out with Santa being like, I'm fat. They're breathing down my neck. Yeah, it's just stupid how much they have to funnel into scenes just to make it work, and the majority of the jokes, they're just sloppy. It's just boring. Like, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. And then Candy, she's sitting there, and then all of a sudden, this, like, weird penguin walks up, and she blows a whistle, and she's like, oh no, I blew my consensual whistle, not my rape whistle, oopsies. Yeah, and then he takes off all of his layers, all of his masks, and it turns out that it's, the emissary for the Easter Bunny. Yeah, great. And he's like, we'd like to offer you a job, madame. Here you go. Here's a card for you. Perhaps a job. Oh. And Candy is considering this. And then we get one of the most thrilling comedy scenes that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, genuinely, there is nothing better than this. I wouldn't be surprised if whoever came up with this joke got at least a $120,000 bonus. Maybe, like, they walked into his office and they were like, my man! Dapped him up and they were like, you know comedy! You know how to write stuff so good, because the bunny puts on a mask. And it's an Osama bin Laden mask, and he says, Osama Bun Laden.
Osama Bun Laden.
Oh, put me in a straitjacket. I'm losing my life. Oh God, I need to go away in the insane asylum because I'm gonna be laughing forever. Oh dear Lord, oh me, oh my. That was some good ass comedy right there. Yippee. So then I get to see my first stop motion cack. Yeah, it's just this one character who the only thing, mind you, basically the only thing he said in the first 2 episodes, I didn't even mention it, he randomly goes, yes, I am gay. Yeah, that's basically all he's done. He's just stated that, and then the next scene that I get to see with him when being important is him just thrusting into a snow angel. That's great. I obviously can't show this on screen because it does show the beautifully wonderful stop-motion cack. You know, I guarantee you there was some gooner making the action figure and he was like, ooh, this little green elf. Oh, I gotta just finagle it and slightly place it on there. Ooh, yeah, I gotta paint that little dippity schlong. Ooh, how Christmassy and how festive. Ooh, yes, this is going to create great television. And it doesn't. It's just, like, that scene didn't even matter. It was literally just him calling into work because he just did that with that guy. Like, there was no importance of it in the story. There was no reason for that to be happening. It just happens. It's just so odd. And then we get more Santa rambling about Candy, and there's some issues at the factory, and Candy goes to Easter Island, and she meets up with Peter Rabbit, and her mom is there, and the mom is just like, ooh, yes, touch my filthy vagina, yes! That's all she wants from Peter Rabbit the entire time. And, you know, if you think that's funny, that's funny. We cut back to the candy factory, and one of the, like, boss employees, he's just putting his good old-fashioned pudding cup inside of a gummy mermaid, just using her up.
It's Larson!
I love your lady brain as much as your body. I love women.
Which causes the factory to like explode a little bit and Candy to go everywhere. So that's the shenanigans they're dealing with over there. Meanwhile, we have Candy talking to Peter Rabbit about working there. They make a bunch of bunny puns like, ho ho, you think I could hear that? I guess I'm all ears. God, that's a knee slapper. I'm losing my mind. This show is so unbelievably boring that I feel like me as an entertainer on YouTube, it's hard for me to even make jokes about it. It's just hard to say anything meaningful when there's nothing going on of value. So Candy goes to hang out with Peter Rabbit's son, and the mother is hanging out with Peter Rabbit, and of course the mom and Peter Rabbit, they get jiggy with each other, because why wouldn't they? Because, you know, if we can't joke about getting naughty, then we just have to actually do it. And then we get just one of the most wonderful animated scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. Just God, like, Wallace and Gromit could never even live up to this. They call them the stop motion kings. You're so unbelievably wrong, because we just have this great sequence where Candy and Peter Rabbit's son, they're just sensually feeling up their ears. He's just like, yes, oh yeah. And that goes on for a while, and then Peter Rabbit is apparently evil and wants to use Candy to make Easter popular again. And so Peter Rabbit's son, because they touched ears really sexually, they help Candy and the mom escape. And then we get that wonderful progression after they escape all these zombies, which actually was kind of interesting. Like, the zombie bunny's chasing them and they barely manage to escape. Candy and the bunny, they kiss because it's just a super fast romance for no reason. I don't even know if that character is going to return. Do I care? Not really. And then Candy's mom was set up in the first episode to kind of be a spiteful mother and not really like her daughter very much, preferring the son. Okay. You know, I would assume that you're setting that up for some progression with her character down the line, to like give Candy a good character arc with her mom, give her mom a good arc to where they could finally come together. No, just at the end of the episode, she's like,
oh, I'm so sorry, baby. You know, I can kind of be a little bit of a whore. You know, I'm sorry I wanted to just jack Peter Rabbit's carrot. I'm sorry I wanted to use him up, but you know, I love you, girl.
yeah, so I'm assuming for the rest of the series that issue is just resolved. Why even establish that issue in the first place? Just make the mother a stinky little penis goblin, like she wants it so bad. Don't have them have this, like, spiteful relationship if you're just going to immediately fix it 2 episodes later with no build, no progression, no idea. And then Santa, in the last episode, he was extremely pissed off by Candy, and then Candy gets back and Santa's like, I like you, Candy. I'm sorry that you didn't impress the board directors, and you did an awful job, and nobody liked you. I'm sorry. I actually like you a lot, Candy. I think you're great for this business. You're incredible. You're everything I wanted to need. It's just stupid. It's unbelievably stupid. Like, not only is your show boring, it is just, its only jokes are sex related, and at the same time, your progression is just so faulty. Like, Candy should have had to do something to redeem herself in Santa's eyes. It shouldn't have just been, Candy's gone, and it wasn't even necessarily Candy's fault that, like, the factory had issues. It was because one of the bosses who was running that area was sticking his porcupine inside of a gummy candy. That's the only reason that happened. So there's no reason for Santa to just be all like, oh yeah, you know what, Candy? I actually think you're perfect for this business. I think you're elegant, and you could be the next Santa again. Like, there's no reason for that progression to happen. It just happens for the sake of happening. And then the progression with the mom, that was also soiled because you could have done something actually interesting with that. It's just stupid, it's pointless, and I hate it! I hate it so much! If I was to rate this episode 1 to 10, I would give it a 1 out of 10. Woo, woo, woo. 3,000 likes and I'll finish the entire show, but honestly, I've seen enough. I could see where the show is going. They had Santa and Devin get all buddy-buddy in the last episode that I watched. I didn't even talk about it because ultimately it was really boring, but it's clear that they're establishing a relationship and a friendship between them so that Devin could probably become the next chosen successor, and either Candy has to find a way to topple that, or Candy just gets empowered and is like, I'm gonna do what I'm good at, and that's being a grind beast and impeccable leader, but I'm gonna do it from the sidelines, and that's okay. And that's probably where the story is heading. That's just my guess. I don't know. But it just seems really lame because all the characters aren't very charismatic. And when you're doing something like poking fun at Christmas tradition, that's perfectly fine, but you gotta do it in a fun way. Like, take A Christmas Story, for example, where their turkey gets devoured and eaten by dogs, so they gotta go and eat at a Chinese restaurant on Christmas. That's different. That's funny. There's a lot of things going on right there that made that movie really good compared to what's going on here. It's just a really boring plotline and a boring story that is just filled to the brim with jokes that don't work. And I know a lot of people were saying that this show gets really political. I don't care about politics. I'm not going to focus on any of those aspects, but genuinely what I saw from this show is just devoid of comedy, other than the fact that if you laugh at, oh my gosh, Donner has a really big reindeer penis, then you'll laugh. But everything else is just sloppy, there's nothing going for it, and it's just really hard to get behind what any of the characters are going through, which makes the entire viewing experience just really annoying. I would love to be able to sit through this entire show and feel like I can be entertaining, that I can talk about it, that I can enjoy myself, but watching this is just like somebody slowly ripping off all of my fingernails. It's hard to make jokes about a series that is so unbelievably awful in every single way. It's just boring, so therefore, it's just not worth watching. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Again, this is one of those shows where I'm not very confident in the things that I'm saying about it, because I just am not enjoying the product at all, and it's not even so bad that it's good, that it's laughable, and I can make jokes about how bad it's good, which I feel like is impacting the video. Like, genuinely, the show is just that bad that it's hard to make a video on it, so I no longer want to continue watching the episodes because they're just that bad. So, I still hope you found some enjoyment in this video. I hope I was a little bit funny in such a dull and atrocious show. I got lots of other good things on the way. I got Nut Shack, Danny Phantom, Farzar, lots of other shows that I'm sure I'll have a lot more to say about in terms of actual enjoyment or ranting, but this show was just too dull to even want to talk about.